Recording in progress.
Yes, guys, welcome to today's Unbreakable Mindset Mastery session. So, one of the biggest lessons I think that I've learned, and I've had another big reminder recently after a big investment, and yet it's something we hear so often. It's something that I've been asked 100 times. It's probably something that you've asked somebody else multiple times. And I think it's a lesson that Lee's brain journaled out and that we all need to take away from today's session. It's not a good one to hear. There is no secret to success. So stop looking. How many times, whether it's in fat loss, muscle building, finance, business, successful relationships, or any area of life, has the question been asked to a successful person? So then, Gordon, what's the secret to your success? It's the instant question that people ask someone else who's achieved something that they haven't. As soon as I post a transformation picture on Facebook, I can guarantee someone will message that person, "Oh, what was the secret to your success?" Again, on transformation pictures, like there was I think it might have been even on yours, Lorraine, one of the, like, Lorraine's first transformation. I think she lost well over 20 30 kg, gave up smoking, started training, completely turned her life around. And straight away, as soon as a transformation picture is posted, it's either, "I wish I had your motivation. I wish I could do what you did." Well, that's just another person in denial, because any person can do something that another person does if they want it enough. And the other thing is that people will say, "What's your secret? You're so disciplined. What's your secret? You're so motivated. What's your secret? You've lost all this weight. What's your secret? Your business is on fire. What's your secret?" It's probably the most commonly asked question, and it's one that I've been asked so many times. And I think finally understanding this truly this week in my journal, I believe is going to be a pivotal moment in my life. Now, I'm not saying all the business mentors and everybody that I've worked with I've worked with some big players over the last 10 years. Phil Graham, Paul Mort, Ollie Carson, Ben Hawksworth, Peter Sage. A lot of big level people. But again, you get locked into this thought of, "I need to work with them to get their secret. They have the secret sauce. They have the answers. They are going to make things happen quicker. They are going to make things happen faster." And every single one of those people have taught me a monumental amount about business mindset, strategy, and everything in between. But they can't do the work for me. And this is why people are getting sucked in right across social media, because the secret is hard work, discipline, having a goal, showing up, accountability, leverage, not giving up when things get tough, coming back from disappointment, working on yourself daily. Nobody can give you those things. And they're sure as hell not a secret, are they? Those things aren't a secret. That's not some secret sauce. But everywhere you go on social media, there is a business guru trying to sell you their secret lead generation technique. Everywhere you go on social media, there's a bodybuilder trying to sell you their secret muscle building technique, their secret fat loss technique, their secrets to... How many books are there called secrets? The Secret to Success, The Secret to Fat Loss, The Secret to Muscle Building, The Secret to Making Your First Million. They are literally preying on you. Jan, just give me this money and I'm going to tell you this secret that's going to give you all these things that you've always wanted without doing any work. Because I can tell by the fact that you're even reading this advert, it means you're a person that wants a short, pain-free, easy road that avoids resistance or challenge to get what you want. Because deep down, you're not willing to do the graft. Not you personally, obviously. I can just see you there in that green hoodie. So I'm using you as an example. So what you need to understand and take away from today, whether it's people with good bodies, high achievers, fat loss, successful in business, successful relationships, there are no secrets. Yet there's millions of books that have been written called The Secret to X. Bullshit. There are not secrets. They're not secrets. Napoleon Hill, 18 million copies of Think and Grow Rich. Everything that's in every personal development book, pretty much written since then, was in Napoleon Hill's book. Jan, I'd probably put that one to the top of your list, actually, the ones that I gave you. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. It's incredible. He is the ultimate first guru of personal development. And there's no secrets in that book. So people are looking, people preying on people to take money off them, to get them where they want to get faster without doing the work, convince people there are secrets. There's a magic source. There's something I know that you don't know. And if you just give me money, I'm going to tell you how to do it, and you'll be able to do it without all of the hard work. And I can see why this happens. You remember, I've always gone back to this phrase. I'm actually going to get some... Oh my God, guys, you see some of these pictures I dug out the other day. I'll post some of these in the group. That is... I think where I am. Oops. There. I've always talked about it. That is 15-year-old Lee with the Hitchin Rugby Club men's first 15 club. And I wonder why my body is so battered, because I think I was about 9 stone at the time. Found loads of these. They're crazy, playing on the wing for Hitchin at 15 years old. But the point of what I'm going back to is, when I've spoken time and time about my granddad, you know, I'm going to have some artwork done with this and put up in a new house. You can all achieve anything you want. What he told me, boy, you can achieve anything that you want if you're willing to put your mind to it and work hard. He didn't say you can achieve anything you want if you can find a guru to give money to who's going to tell you all the secrets. That's not a thing. But hard workers, right? People who achieve things, successful people, people who have successful relationships, people who have successful businesses, people who have incredible bodies, people who achieve amazing things in sport, create an illusion that they have something special because they do it effortlessly. They do it effortlessly, 1, because they have purpose and passion about what they're doing, and 2, they do it effortlessly because they have self-discipline. Everything comes down to self-discipline. If you cannot track your food every day for 7 days, you have no self-discipline. If you cannot drink alcohol for 7 days, you have no self-discipline. If you can't do 10,000 steps every day for 10 days, you have no self-discipline. And that is where it is going wrong. Most people cannot go 1 day and then they wonder why they're not succeeding, because they have no self-discipline. You know, this is a great test for people. I did a 36-hour fast once with 3 runs to test my discipline. The human body can survive for 3 days without food. Again, if you can't fast for 24 hours, you have a self-discipline problem. You can't discipline yourself to do something for 24 hours. People who smoke, people who drink, people who take drugs, they wonder why they are where they are, because they don't have the discipline to be able to stop. People who don't have the discipline to get up an hour early. Oh, I'm not a morning person. No, it's not that you're not a morning person. You have very low levels of discipline. And with low levels of discipline, you will achieve nothing. And you will then probably start looking for the secret. So I would say I'm about 70%. But the thing I have that a lot of people don't have, that you could say was a secret to success, even though it's not a secret, is discipline. I have the discipline to get up at 5 a.m. and work on my mind for an hour, irrespective of how much I have to do. I do not care what's on that list. Outside of Logan or Nat needing me for an emergency, I do not care. I don't care what any of you have messaged me. I don't care what's in my emails. I don't care about anything. That is my hour. And that is not selfish. That is important to get my head right, because I cannot serve people from a head that is muffled and not clear. So irrespective of anything, I have the discipline to get up for an hour early and work on my own mind so that I can serve others. We discussed this on Monday, didn't we? Get your own mind right before you start trying to do other things. And do this consistently. And that means every day. I'm going to go back to this again. If you can't commit to watching one of my videos for 30 minutes per day, you have no discipline. And then you'll say, I've lost motivation. Well, you haven't lost motivation, you've got distracted. You've drifted through another day, convincing yourself with your thoughts that you didn't even have half an hour in the morning to get up and get yourself right. When the truth is, you went to bed late, you chose and made a decision to press snooze, you didn't have a plan and you didn't do the work. It isn't magic. It isn't a secret. It's a decision. It's a choice. Whether you go to the gym today or not is a decision or a choice. You have time. Don't lie to me and tell me you don't have time. You have time. Anyone who tells me they haven't got time to go to the gym for 30 minutes today or go for a walk or a run, please feel free on this video, on YouTube or on Facebook, to send me a screenshot of your planner for the day that categorically shows me that there is no half an hour window from now until 9 p.m. tonight. So moving on, it's discipline. It's not a secret, it's discipline. Now, as we've discussed before, the world operates on two levels. How many times have you heard me say, life is a contribution-based experience? Jan, I'm going to use you as an example again. Every week, Jan checks in. She's like, I've been given some venison, I've been given this, I've been given this, she's been given all these things by all these people, from the gamekeeper to other people that want to give her things to sell at the car boot, to raise money for the veterans. And that is only coming back to her because it first came from inner. She's given out things to them that makes people say, I want to give this to you. Okay? I've said this before. If you want to get more, give more. But give more without any expectation. Don't give in order to get back. Don't buy somebody a drink because you expect one back. Don't do a favour for someone because then you're going to say, I hate this phrase. You owe me one now. No, I don't. If you say that, you owe me one for that. Well, you shouldn't have done it then. That wasn't ever agreed. Okay? You should do it from a heart that is full. So the world operates on two laws, growth and contribution. Life is a contribution-based experience. But again, we're going back to the overcoming adversity, right? Growth cannot occur without challenge. Case closed. I'll say it again. Growth cannot occur without challenge. Case closed. So an unchallenged person will never grow. And that's why I journal every morning. I'm grateful in advance for all challenge that is coming my way. Yes, this month has been a bit of a disaster, but guess what? In 7 to 14 days, I'm going to be in a new house, which I like a lot more than this one. I faced challenge, overcome the challenge, got the reward. It's just a real world simple example, okay? You know, I faced the challenge of failing the first 100-mile run, which meant I then met Jason and got to do the second run for him. Without the initial challenge, the growth of the second thing wouldn't have come. But unfortunately, in today's world, we crave instant gratification. This is why so many of you are still losing your SH1T, that's the way my granddad used to say it, into the middle of next week, because despite being told multiple times and watching the complete 30-minute video that I recorded on exactly why, you still insist of doing the opposite of what you were advised, jumping on the scales every Sunday and then losing it into the middle of next week when they haven't gone down, have gone up, or they've stayed the same. This is when your mind then wanders off and you think, oh, screw Lee, he's no good. This guy on the internet, he's telling me that I can lose 10 kg in 4 weeks whilst eating pizza, drinking wine, getting out of bed when I want and never going to the gym. Wow, I'm going to go with him because that's the world we live in. It's not your fault. You're blasted by it on the media everywhere you looked. Talking of media yesterday as well, those that experienced Facebook going down, Instagram going down, Gmail going down, can you now see why I was so adamant about doing all of these videos on Zoom only, so that my content, it's saved, it can't be lost. Like Facebook, no one knew whether Facebook had just gone yesterday or not. I think it was up to 2 hours for some people. I went into the biggest blind panic I've ever gone into my life. I thought I'd lost my Instagram, thought I'd lost my Facebook, I thought I'd lost my Gmail. I couldn't get onto my CRM system, and it was all just a Google problem. But, going off on a tangent there. But we will be pulled in daily by people trying to prey on this instant need for gratification. And this is why it's so hard for people to get on the positive habit curve, because everyone's going to keep trying to put you on the negative one, where they keep convincing you this is what. Do you know what? It's really bad, and I've been with some business coaches. This is how they coach people to sell. Are you a person who is X? List 4 pain points, preying on naive people. Are you a person who wants to lose weight, feeling depressed, has no confidence and feels lost? Would you like to lose weight, feel better, feel more confident, and then after that, without giving up everything you love, without going to the gym, without doing this, without doing that? Fucking hell, yeah, where do I pay? Take my money. I can have all these things that are causing my pain without doing any work. All I need to do is pay you money. It's disgusting. Anyway, before I go off on a rant. So, they convince you that you can do it without getting up early, without training hard, without journaling, without giving up pizza. You don't have to give up pizza altogether. Without tracking food, without training, without sweating, without going through any pain. Okay? Without having consistency, without having discipline. They try to convince you. And those are the things that get results. Hard work, tracking your food, training, sweating, discomfort, consistency, discipline, willpower, not giving up. Not a fucking shake or a fat dissolving injection. Literally, at least Dick Turpin wore a mask. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you're selling fat dissolving injections, you are a disgrace. End of comment. Challenge me on it if you want. Challenge the scientific wonder that you are selling in your beauty salon about how fat is dissolved from an injection. It's not. You're injecting a naive person with something that's suppressing their appetite and making them feel sick so they don't lose weight, so they lose weight because they don't eat for your financial gain. Hang your head in shame. Anyway, I hope someone who's selling fat dissolving injections watches this. And don't even get me started on Herbalife or Juice Plus or any of those. Just drink 2 shakes a day instead of 2 meals and you'll lose weight. No fucking shit, Sherlock. You just reduced my calories by 1,000. Of course I will. By the way, if you are on Herbalife or Juice Plus, why don't you just buy a protein shake and a multivitamin? It's the same thing. You don't need to spend £50 a month. Anyway, probably should stop that conversation. So, looking for results without doing the work doesn't exist. And every time you try, you are going to get burned. And yes, I have lots of very real world examples of this, like my entire life savings that I lost putting them into cryptocurrency, which has now disappeared. Why did I do that? Because somebody convinced me I was going to get a fuck ton of money without doing any work. And it didn't happen. So the universe went, there you go, Lee. There's your big fat reminder. Life doesn't work that way. Don't do it again. I've accepted the lesson and I won't do it again. Yet still we see people chasing these fat... I see this on Facebook all the time. What's best diet at minute? What's best new fat loss plan? I need a personal trainer. I need this, I need that. No, you know what you need to do. You need accountability and discipline, consistency, peer group, emotional support. So, you know, this doesn't work. And this is what we have to understand. There aren't secrets. And if I could give one key tip that isn't a secret, it's a key tip, I would say it's using your time effectively. So get into bed earlier. Of course you're tired if you were on Netflix until midnight. Train yourself to get up earlier. You don't have to go from getting up at 8 a.m. to getting up at 5 a.m. Try and get up at 7:30, then try and get up at 7, then try and get up at 6:30, then start working on your mind, doing your stretching, your meditation, your journaling. Exactly what I said I do. But this is why I will have a successful day. And yes, I'm not perfect. And yes, multiple times I've stopped doing this only in the last month. And guess what? I had angry, reactive, tired, draining days when I didn't achieve anything. Why? Because I didn't sort myself out and get control of my thoughts first. Get up early, plan your day, visualize the way you want your day to go. Journal, go for a walk, get some fresh air, stretch, gratitude. I've boxed all that off before 6 a.m. So I'm creating a good day. Positive energy is created and it's your responsibility. I have to get up. The mind will almost certainly get up and start to think negatively. I have to work on quieting those thoughts. And then I have to work on feeding the positive thoughts. So I quiet the negative ones and I feed the positive ones. I program my own mind with my own actions, not social media, not other people. Okay? But this is what we said we need to understand. I am my thoughts and I can change them in a heartbeat. Sorry, I am not my thoughts and I can change them in a heartbeat. This is what we think. We get up and we think something and we think that's me. That's not you. That's your thoughts. I am depressed. No, that's not you. You are thinking depressive thoughts. I am not good enough. No, that's not you. You are thinking thoughts that you are not good enough. Because what I think about, I will become. And when I'm in charge of my thoughts, I can control them. But I also have to remember that I am not my thoughts. They are just thoughts. But the ship of the mind needs steering. This is why we need to get up and do it straight away, or it will just drive itself. Oh, guess what? 11 a.m. and I've crashed it into a wall. Well, it's hardly surprising because you weren't steering your own mind. You did nothing. You just jumped out of bed, angry, tired, reactive, went on social media, got pissed off, opened your emails, sent a reactive email, late for work, didn't get your clothes out, rushed out of the door, hadn't planned your food, straight into work, everyone's doing your head in, and that's the way your day will go until you crash and burn at the end of the day, because you never steered it, you didn't visualize it, you didn't plan it. So what I want you to do is, if you're in the the hamster wheel of doing that so many people are, the first thing you need to do in the morning is step out of your day to day and develop self-awareness. What's working? What's not working? What do I need to change? What do I need to do more of? What do I need to do less of? Like I said, I am depressed. No, you're not. That's your thoughts when you got up. Change them. These things are just your thoughts. And your thoughts, your logic, your emotions, your conclusions will very often just be the result of the outside world. Because this is what you do. You watch the news, you read newspapers, you scroll on social media, you spectate everyone else's life. You think everyone else is better than you. You think everyone else is further along in you. You think you're good enough for you because you're just watching the outside world. So the outside world is programming your thoughts. I want to get inside my inner world, block out that noise, and program my own thoughts. I am good enough. I'm strong. I'm resilient. I'm a winner. I will win. I will succeed. I will defeat anything. I've overcome more challenges than most people know, and I will continue to. And I'm grateful for all challenge in advance. So I'm programming my own mind, not allowing it to be programmed by other people, Instagram, Facebook, your boss, your partner, your whatever. I program my mind. And that's my responsibility. And that has to happen first thing in the day. And it's also a very good idea to do it for 10 minutes before you go to bed, because it's then in your subconscious mind whilst you're sleeping. But this self-leadership, this self-ownership comes down to one thing. And if you imagine, right, how many books have been written on leadership? I would say upwards of probably 10,000 books on leadership, courses on leadership, corporate leadership, team leadership, personal leadership, self-leadership. And for me, it comes down to one thing. Leadership comes down to doing what is right, irrelevant of what you fear other people's opinion might be. So even if it's unpopular in the moment, I know if I need to remove someone from the now Unbreakable Elite WhatsApp group, I will do it, because that's leadership. And in that moment, I know it's right. With respect, it's not down to anyone else's opinion in that group of whether they think it's right or not. Because then I'm not being a leader. I'm being a follower, and there has to be a leader. So doing what you believe to be right and saying what you believe to be right in the moment, even if you know it's going to be unpopular, that's true leadership. A team leader or a colonel or a squadron leader, he doesn't think about the opinions of all the soldiers and all the other players and take all that on board and think about who's going to be upset and who's going to be let down. He just makes the decision. And that's why he's the leader. If someone's not performing in my team at rugby, they are getting dropped. I don't care whether it's my best friend. I don't care whether he's the most popular player in the team. Because that's what leadership is. Doing what's right in the moment, irrelevant of what other people think. Not needing any support, not needing any validation. And you can employ that into your same life, into your own life, because leadership is doing what's right for you, independent of the opinion of others and independent of the need for approval or validation. Now, don't get that confused with the stubbornness of doing what you need to do to prove a point, because that's your ego. How many times have you heard someone say, I would rather, what's the phrase people use? Can't think of the phrase. I would rather than do something. I would rather stick pins in my eyes than set foot in that building. I would rather go to my grave than have that conversation with that person. I would rather than eat in that restaurant. I would So basically, they're doing something that they're avoiding something that they want to do to prove a point over a person that probably doesn't matter. So stubbornness against your values will destroy you. I think I would rather shit in my hands and clap is the classic phrase that I used to use, than do X, even if X is the thing that I really want to do, but that person's annoyed me and he owns that restaurant, so I'm not going to eat there. Just go and eat at the restaurant. Why are you changing that's an egotistical thing. So the only person that needs to be happy with the decision is you. Like, how many people would do something that goes against their values to not lose an argument? A crazy amount of people. How many people would never admit they were wrong because they're too stubborn? How many people spend their life angry just because they don't want to go back on something that they've said, even though deep down they know it's wrong? So no one ever wins or loses an argument. Like, the only person that needs to be happy with the decisions is you. So make your decisions based on you and what you want to do. And likewise, if you didn't make the decision because you didn't have the courage, or you didn't have the strength, or you didn't have the power in that moment to do it, well, that's great. You got a lesson to learn for next time. So moving on before we wrap this training up, because I always like to come back to this. Drop me a yes on YouTube or in the chat here, or any way you can. Come on, I didn't realise how easy Zoom is as well. I'm going to come on to that shortly. Just lost all my notes. Happiness, right? Drop me a yes if you want to be happy. Drop me a yes if your goal is happiness. Happiness for yourself and happiness for others. Until I was testing the music, what I didn't realise was that how easy Zoom is. You know, everyone was kind of having a bit of a meltdown about using Zoom because it was different to Facebook. I didn't realise you literally click that link, type in the word mindset on an app on your phone, and that's it, you're straight on Zoom. It's even easier than anything else. But again, you see how there's that resistance to change, and now all of a sudden we're all here on Zoom, and I hope these numbers really start to go up. So happiness is everyone's goal, without a shadow of a doubt, right? We all just want to feel happy. So when I was journaling my notes on this, the two things came up. What's the fastest way to happiness? What's the fastest way for me to feel happy? Well, actually, no, spin that round. Because I'll tell you what the fastest way to unhappiness is. And I've had this conversation with multiple people on Unbreakable Elite on their check-ins this week. The fastest way to unhappiness is trying to get another person to be, do, behave, act, or do something they are not that aligns with the way that you want them to be. I've spoke to Nikki at length about this, because her and Tony's main job is their relationship counselors or therapists. They do an amazing course. They've recovered hundreds and hundreds of broken relationships. And the first thing that the man always says is, well, if only she could be more like me, or if only she would be willing to do X, Y, and Z, or only if she would just change da-da-da-da-da. And then the female says, well, only if he'd only stop doing this. Well, if he'd only start doing this. Well, if he just da-da-da-da. Like, neither party are looking inner, right? They're basically looking to change. And this might happen in the workplace. This might be happening with your friends, your family, your kids, anyone. Trust me, it's the number one fastest way to unhappiness. And if you can let go of it, it will become the fastest way to happiness. If you are trying to change another person against their values, beliefs, and behaviours to fit in with your pictures of how you think the world should be and how they would behave, that is the fastest way to be unhappy. Why? Because we are all completely different. I'm not saying you can't nudge, nurture, and push people in the right direction, especially if they ask for your help. Again, be very cautious of giving advice if you've not been asked for it, because you are then, the person will feel attacked. Like, imagine it being in a relationship, right, and being really overweight, and your partner says, "Listen, hun, you could really do with losing a few pounds." That's attacking an individual. Very different if the person says, "I really need to lose a few pounds. Can you help me?" Okay? Or, just like we've said, be in the lighthouse, not the tugboat. Like, I know this person really needs help with their weight and their mental health, so I'm just going to start showing them the benefits of it. And if they then magnetize towards me and say, "Hey, can I have some help?" that would be great. But if you start saying to someone else, "You really need to sort this out," you're attacking them. So that's why the friction causes. Again, the same as when one person's going this way towards health and fitness, one person's going to the pub. They just have to let each other be, because the healthy person is not going to get dragged to the pub and the pub person is not going to get dragged to the gym. So you just have to be okay with everyone else being on their journeys. But, you know, we are all different, and this is why we can't change people, yet we try so often. I need you to change. This is where many people sit. I need you to change in order for me to feel happy. Well, why can't I just be happy? Like, just let that sit in your head. And you should love each and every person for who they are, irrelevant of how they behave, unless it's something disgusting or destructive. But again, you know, the opposite way. I used to, like I said, I used to behave and do things in a certain way because I thought it would make people love me more. You know, this is classic with males. If I have the big house, if I have the big car, if I have the big money, if I have the big status, I'm going to be really attractive, and then I'll find the woman that's truly going to love me. And the reality is, if you found a woman that loved you because of your house, your car, your bank balance and everything else, then that's the worst type of woman in the world, because she doesn't love you, she loves your things. And this is like the journey we went through with Kieran, when it's like, you know, when you can just truly be your authentic self, then you'll attract all the love and success that you want. And the right people will love you, and the other people won't matter. So again, we shouldn't try to be someone in order to be loved, and we certainly shouldn't try to change someone in order for them to be loved. And like, the most real example I can think of is like, it's like music and food. Like, do we all love the same food? Do we all love the same music? Do we all love the same hobbies? Do we all love the same clothes? Do we all love the same TV programs? Of course we don't. We're all completely different, and we've all got different sets of values and beliefs. So don't, you know, we have to move away from trying to justify our own values and beliefs for validation from others in order to feel all right. Just be happy doing what we're doing. Like, some people are literally, you see this, like, this is the biggest thing since I've stopped drinking. I love going to social things now, and I just people watch, and I see one drink goes down, two drink goes down, three drinks goes down. Then someone has an opinion about COVID, someone has an opinion about the government, someone has an opinion about the cost of living, and then another person in the room is also pissed, so they feel the need to challenge it because they don't agree with it. And all of a sudden, there's 10 people in a room just literally trying to convince everybody else that what they believe is right. What a negative, draining atmosphere. So you must stop this if you want to be happy. Have your beliefs, have your values, stand by them without apology, but don't try to convince everyone else that they need to be like you in order for you to be okay, because we are all different. The next big tip to, where did I write this down? The next big tip to happiness is, I've said this so many times this week as well. Said it to Sharon yesterday, Sharon, didn't I, about your illness. Like, to be happy, we have to stop arguing with reality. People are going to mistreat you. People are going to leave this plan. People are going to come into this plan. People are going to think I'm great. People are going to think I'm an arsehole. People are going to love me. People are going to hate me. That's reality. Some challenges I'm going to succeed, some I'm going to fail. Some hills I'll climb, some hills I won't. Sometimes I'll have time, sometimes I'll run out of time. Sometimes Logan's going to be a little angel when I pick him up from school. Sometimes he's going to be a little shit. Okay? And if I try to get everything to always fit the pictures of how I want them to be in my head, then I'm arguing with reality, because it's never going to be that way. Okay? And that's where so much, that's the most complicated and I think the most outside of that, so stop arguing with reality, but also the most complicated way to happiness, going right back to just what I said, and this was one of the earliest mindset sessions I did that's in the guide in the private client group on Facebook, the fallacy of I'll be happy when. That's the most restrictive, disruptive, aggressive, arguing with reality way to happiness. I'll be happy when I get the Range Rover. I'll be happy when I get the 5-bedroomed house. I'll be happy when I'm dating Amanda Holden. I'll be happy when I've run 400 miles. I'll be happy when I've got abs. I'll be happy when. And that is the fallacy of I'll be happy when. And it's a one-way road to absolutely nowhere, because it's like a drug. It's like anything that gives you a short, sharp hit, which goes back to the original conversation about us looking for the instant gratification. You all know this, right? Phil Graham even told me this like 5-6 years ago, and I still made the same mistake. He was like, Lee, when I made my first million, I bought a Ferrari. Thought it was the best thing ever. He says 6 weeks in, I'd curbed both alloys. I was banging it up curbs. There were cheese ploughman sandwiches all over it, and it just became my fucking car that I drove to work, and it cost me a fortune. But yet, see how it's only a few days, isn't it? It's like you might have a drink or a line of Coke, and it allows you to escape, and it allows you to feel good for a few hours, but it's temporary. Then it goes back to reality. You know, you might have an aggressive argument and it makes you feel happy, like you've won and you've got your point across, and then you go back to reality. So it's only ever a temporary hit. So if we're keeping looking for things, achievements, successes, when I get this, I will be happy. When I do this, I will be happy. When this person agrees with me, when I get this promotion, when I get this money. And I think the true key to happiness is understanding, as I've said so many times, just be happy on the journey, not the destination. Have the passion and purpose, and be happy on the process, not the prize. And I don't know if any of you guys have watched this. I'll come on to it a bit. There's a documentary on Netflix. Not that I ever watch Netflix because I go to bed early. No, I did watch it between 9 and 10 p.m. And it's all about the Tyson Fury and the Ngannou fight, which was the Battle of the Baddest. So I think that's Ngannou. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He was the big 6'6" UFC champion from France. Come from nothing, basically homeless, living on the streets. He's made it to the top of the UFC. He's obviously went and fought in Riyadh and went 12 rounds with Tyson Fury, which was unheard of. You know, every single sporting person in the world was there watching it, from Cristiano Ronaldo to Mike Tyson and everyone in between. It is still billed as the biggest sporting event that's ever happened. And Tyson Fury won just. And if you watch the interview with Ngannou afterwards, he's like, I'd already won. He went, I'd won before I went in the ring. Like, he says, I'm just a kid who wanted to box, who was basically homeless and living on the streets in France. He went, he was just happy to be there. Like, you could tell, and it was just so genuine. He literally didn't really care whether he won or lost. He was like, I've already won. I'm fighting the world's best boxer in Riyadh Stadium in front of millions of people. And he sat on the ring afterwards, interviewed, and he's just like, I'm just happy. You know, it wasn't related to whether he won or not. It wasn't related to whether he climbed the mountains. It wasn't related to whether he did the 200 miles. It wasn't related to any of things. He was just happy being there. And something else that I got from Peter Sage was he went, happiness is just thinking happy thoughts. And it sounds so simple, doesn't it? And so silly. Happiness is just thinking happy thoughts. So, you know, allow yourself to do this without getting something. I can just be happy without there having to be a thing that I need to get in order to be happy. Because if you always need something, someone, or to be somewhere in order to be happy, then you'll be forever chasing. Whereas if we can say, do you know what? I'm just happy. Like, think of kids. They're not like, oh God, I need to, well, some of them probably are now when they're about 8, but that's how the world changed. But generally, kids are just happy playing, aren't they? They're not like, oh, I'll be happy when I get the new iPhone. Oh, I'll be happy when, you know, I get this car. Oh, I'll be happy when this happens. I'll be happy when they're just happy. Even if you look into like, and I think the biggest lessons on this are sometimes from people that have nothing, like Nagano. Like who's ever seen, like, obviously I watch Britain's Got Talent because Amanda Holden's on it. That's the only reason I watch it. But you see these dance acts come on, right? And it's like 20 kids from Cambodia, and they're all basically homeless. They've grown up on the street. They live on like rice and water. They've got a really underprivileged life, and they just come on stage and they just lit up with this dancing, because that dancing's all they've got to do, and they just exude this like happiness, and they're just so grateful to get there. They're not going, well, I'm only going to be happy if I win X Factor, or I'm only going to be happy if I get this amount of money. It's like they're just expressing that joy and happiness because, you know, they're just happy in the moment. And again, we can relate this back to our own experience of the Three Peaks. You know, just be happy being there and being around people and having a great day, irrelevant of whether you did 1, 2 or 3 peaks. You know, rather than, you know, a lot of people experienced disappointment and frustration because they made the entire day about whether or not they completed the challenge, rather than just, do you know what, I'm just happy and grateful to be here. Because again, we're going back to arguing with reality. None of us were in control of the weather. None of us are in control of injuries. None of us are in control of how much our freaking knees were hurting. None of us were in control of the daylight. Like, so to say, oh, I'm only going to be happy if I do that and I get the thing, then we're arguing with reality, because we're arguing with things that we can't control. I say this all the time to some of the business people that I coach. They literally get on a sales call, and before they go into the sales call, their mindset is, if I convert this sale and make money, I'm a success, I'm enough, and this is a good day. If this person doesn't sign up, I'm not good enough, my plan's useless, I'm not worth the money, no one's ever going to want to work with me, and it's a bad day. Whereas that's why they don't make any sales. Where if you just go into it, well, I've just got another great opportunity to meet a new person and see if I can help them. And either way, whether this person decides to join or not, I'm going to give them a hell of a lot of value in the 45 minutes that they're with me. And I'm totally okay with that, either outcome. So kind of start to practice this. And in your day-to-day life, start to think, how can I just think happy thoughts and be happy? How can I be happy without things? How can I start to train myself to just be happy and think happy thoughts without needing anyone or anything in order to be happy? Guys, I love you all. Stay unbreakable.